Trump sure seems to want to go to prison. He's at least risking it on a daily basis. And in particular, I want to talk about what happened yesterday. And I don't just mean that at the hush money trial, they had that incredibly contentious back and forth about whether he had violated the gag order, in which the judge declared that his lawyer had lost all credibility. I don't mean all of that. I mean what Donald Trump did, the big dummy, hours before that. Knowing that the prosecution was already pushing for him to be fined and potentially eventually incarcerated for violating the gag order, knowing that they were going to discuss it that day, the idiot went and did a local TV news interview where he repeatedly violated the gag order. Now, I cannot play the video for you because unfortunately it's local news, but I will do my best to tell you what he said about Michael Cohen. Well, Michael Cohen is a convicted liar and he's got no credibility whatsoever. He was a lawyer and you rely on your lawyers. But Michael Cohen was a convicted liar. He was a lawyer for many people, not just me. And he got in trouble because of things outside of what he did for me largely. It was essentially all because what he did in terms of campaign. I don't think there was anything wrong with that with the charges that they made. But because again, like, let's pause for a second. He is all over the place. Michael Cohen went to prison for his involvement in this exact thing. And Trump is such an idiot that he's like, okay, I gotta pitch this guy as a liar and as a criminal, but he's a criminal because of what he did for me. And I want to imply that that shouldn't be outlawed, but that he should go to jail for it. I'll just say both things. I'll just throw both things out there. And so that's what he did.
Hey, I'm glad you're here. Listen, in order for the damage report to keep on going, we need viewers like you to become a member on YouTube. Can you click the join button on YouTube today? Thank you.
And he goes on to say, but what he did is he did some pretty bad things, I guess, with banking or whatever. But that was a personal thing to him. Yeah, had nothing to do with Donald Trump. He was just paying hush money payments for Donald Trump's affairs out of the goodness of his own heart. And then he goes on to talk about David Pecker, and he starts citing people who've written op-eds or gone on Fox News to say that it's not a case. Again, if you think that this is compelling, have your lawyers say it in court. That's how you can influence a jury or even a judge potentially. Just babbling in an interview does not sway the hearts nor the minds of the jurors. But importantly, this could be consequential for Donald Trump because we still don't know what the judge is gonna do in terms of those violations of the gag order. What we do know is that the Secret Service has apparently held meetings and started planning for what it is that they're gonna do if Donald Trump is actually held in contempt and sent to short-term confinement for his violations of the gag order. Now, I wanna be very clear because there's a lot of lies going around on Fox News about this. The prosecution is not asking for Donald Trump to be locked up, even briefly, yet. All they've said is fine him now, warn him, as he's already been warned multiple times. But if he again violates it, then potentially he can be locked up. And what's fascinating to me, and again, I don't think he will be locked up. There doesn't seem to be any sign that he will be, but he already knew they were gonna be debating this and he went and did it anyway. And he's been on Truth Social and he's doing it again and again and again. He is begging the judge to lock him up. Probably because he knows that the judge would be in a very difficult position were he to do that. This is what Trump always does. He does unprecedented things that demand a response that comes way too late out of deference to Donald Trump and fear of the consequences. And then when you finally do the thing that he has been forcing you to do, they attack you for being a radical. And I'm like, that's a couple steps ahead in this case, but I can already see it coming. Sharon, what do you make of all this?
Well, I think it's fascinating that the Secret Service is preparing for a, worst case scenario. I don't see why the Secret Service guards have to do the time with him if that ever happens. Why can't they just contract with the same people who watched Epstein and those people? They already have prison guards in place, and I don't see why they can't just watch and guard Donald. Well, it's about that last thing you said, John. All of these allowances are being made for Donald Trump. And I've been throwing things at the television. I've been screaming. My daughter actually screamed back, "Stop talking to yourself. You sound like a weirdo." She did. But the thing about it is, I stopped only when the legal analysts began floating that little thing about how, okay, hold it till the end. And let's see how he behaves. And then we'll be able to justify that. Okay,
yeah.
Regardless, contempt, you got 60 days or something like that. But it's just too much. Why can't he be treated just an eighth of the way you, myself, others would be treated. He's out of control. Even Don Jr. is doing this nonsense. Okay, stop.
Yeah, no, it is everybody is saying there's two tiers of our justice system. Just some of them are very inaccurate about what the higher tier is. And Donald Trump is the only person on that tier right now. And by the way, the Secret Service is not directly commenting on these reports, but they do say that they have to defend the president or the former presidents and some other people. And that's why they might have to be thinking about this. They do say they have not had any talks about long-term incarceration, which I don't believe them, but that's what they're saying at least. When you click the join button and become a tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?